Greetings all, it's Max. We're back and we're doing a little bit of a kind of a double, quadruple movie review. We're only going to talk about one movie. We're also going to talk about some of the rating sites, mainly Rotten Tomatoes, and how rotten it has gotten. But first off, the movie we are going to talk about, The Book of Eli. We were talking about this the other day, and I'm like, I haven't seen that thing since before I was saved, and I really enjoyed it. Book of Eli is a rated R Christian movie. It is a good movie, but people hated it. This movie cost 80 million, I think, to make, and it made like 150 million. People just did not like it. They were kind of ticked because there was Christianity in there. So the Book of Eli is, here's Eli Denzel Washington is carrying around a Bible, and he's led by God to go west. He doesn't know exactly where until he gets there. And he has his people along the way that this is a post-apocalyptic sort of movie where you have little kind of sprawling towns everywhere in between deserts and things like that. And he goes through Gary Oldman's town. Gary Oldman does a fantastic job. He's the main villain called Carnegie. And here in Gary Oldman's main focus is to try and find a Bible so he can control the people better and expand his little town into other towns as being some sort of a false prophet. And the reason, apparently, in this movie, I don't think that it was mentioned, but apparently is the reason that everything is wiped out is a religious reason. They had religious wars and things. So, from a Christian standpoint, I would say that this movie takes place, after the rapture, everything gets wiped out. And maybe the people who wrote this think that the millennial kingdom is in heaven. So you have 1,000 years on earth where everything is just crap. Probably. That's just my speculation. The movie really doesn't go into it. It's not really hitting you over the head with Christianity. But the reason it has a 6.9 out of 10 on IMDb is because people give this movie like 1-star reviews just for the fact that it's Christian. So you have 8 and 9s out of 10 by most people, and then 1 out of 10. If you give a movie 1 out of 10, you're saying that it's not even watchable. Okay? This movie is great. It's a great movie. 1 out of 10. Idiotic religious propaganda. 1 out of 10. Don't read this book. It's not really a book, but whatever. 1 out of 10. Rubbish. They're 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10. Religious global warming indoctrination video. Anything Christian, people just hate. They hate. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how much of a bad rap anything with Christianity in it. To me, when I saw this movie, I wasn't saved, and I thought it was good. I mean, the guy could have been carrying around a Quran, and the movie would still be the same. Obviously, you'd have Allah protecting Denzel Washington through the whole movie instead of Jesus. So don't let the ratings and the reviews fool you. Now, in this, it is a rated R movie, and I can count the coarse language on one hand. I think they dropped the F-bomb 4 or 5 times in the entire thing, and it wasn't out of place. And there's no nudity, there's nothing like that. And the violence really is pretty tame. I think this movie could have gotten away with a PG-13 rating. But I think when they realized, just like Kevin Sorbo's movie that he's coming out with, that the rating commission would not give them a correct and appropriate rating for what they're doing, they're just like, okay, then we're just going to go over the top and make it more of a Mad Max sort of thing. So, why is this movie fairly decent here? I mean, I do have my nitpicks, but I'm going to go through the good things. Denzel Washington, I've never seen him act poorly. He never phones it in. He's always pretty good. I've never seen a bad movie with him in it. Gary Oldman is one of my favorite actors of all time. He never phones anything in either. It was great. secondary actress is Mila Kunis. And it's like, they could have got somebody better than her, but she was serviceable in it. She was okay. I mean, she's not the greatest actress to begin with. She's more of like a romantic comedy actress, not a grim, dark, and serious actor. So that was, that's a thing that's out there, but, it's okay. It's all right. Other great points about this movie is that it's a Christian movie, and people don't understand it really unless they're Christian. The reason, with some of I can't spoil anything with it, you'd have to watch it. Some of the people think that some of the reveals are incredibly silly and incredibly stupid. Like, how can this 55-year-old guy beat up all these people and basically be Jackie Chan? They don't realize that, well, he's on a mission from God. And he's got kind of superpowers. It's kind of the thing. And he kind of loses his power at the end of the movie because his mission is completed. Okay? It's kind of a spoiler that he actually does complete his mission. But I don't want to spoil anything else for anyone who has not seen this movie. What do I rate this? Book of Eli. I'll rate it as an atheist agnostic. I'm going to say 7.5 out of 10. As a Christian, I'm going to rate it probably 8.5. Well, 8.5 is a little pushing it. It's a little pushing it because there are definite scenes in here. It's a long movie. It's like 2.5 hours. It says an hour and 58 minutes. Maybe I have the extended edition, but I think it was over 2 hours. There are definite scenes in there that just didn't need to be there. And they're pointless scenes. And that was kind of irritating. There are things that they set up and they never come back to in a few different places. But the whole thing, is pretty good. It's a pretty good movie. Pretty good movie. There's good old Gary Whitta is the writer. Gary Whitta has written basically nothing until the Book of Eli. He did some video games, okay? Did some video games and wrote the Book of Eli. He also did Rogue One, which I enjoy, but there was also 5 other writers on there. So the fact that this even gotten made, and the other ones on here like, this is a terrible movie, After Earth is bad. And for your writing credits, if you have an Xbox 360 game, not good. It's amazing this movie even got made, largely because of the Christian connotation to it. And Gary Whitta has written nothing. Maybe there's a Book of Eli book out there. There probably is, that Gary Whitta wrote. Maybe. But it's amazing that this got done and casted with Denzel Washington and Gary Oldman. Some of the biggest actors, old school actors that have been out there for a long time. It's amazing. On an $80 million budget, they probably spent most of that just on paying their paycheck. It's amazing that this even got made. So, the Book of Eli, recommended. Definitely if you don't mind R-rated movies. It's all about a guy getting a Bible to a destination he doesn't know, and some guy who wants the Bible to use it for nefarious purposes. That's pretty much the summation of the story. And of course, because it's post-apocalyptic, you have all the Mad Max things. It always gets compared to, something, The Road or something like that. And The Road was terrible. It was a bad movie. I haven't seen The Road in a long time, but I read the book too. And the book was especially terrible because the guy took out all punctuation, or he took out all chapters and all paragraph things. It was almost unreadable. And they want to give that an award, but they want to crap all over Book of Eli. No. This is a way better movie. Way more entertaining than The Road. Way more entertaining. Now, because of this, I also want to look at what's been happening recently in review sites, which is another reason I'm doing reviews, is because You cannot trust the review sites anymore. They used to be okay, but no. There's a bunch of people who are paid to make fake accounts to go up and make fake reviews. And all of the people who are the professional, we'll go to Rotten Tomatoes for Book of Eli. All of the professional critics are paid. They're like, paid, this is what we want you to say about this movie. So, the Book of Eli, by the paid people who their living is based on reviewing movies, gave it a 47%. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Just from a visual, cinematography, and dialogue and acting, it gets way more than a 47%. 64% is still fine, but you have to understand that there's a lot of one-star people out there because they don't like Christianity. They absolutely hate it. So they're going to give it 1 star, and they'll be like, I just wanted to see my rated R movie, and you're going to shove Jesus down my throat. And they get mad. There is not too much of a discrepancy here. Between the reviews, user ratings 350,000. 350,000. 65%, 64, 65, that's fine. It's a watchable movie. Now we're going to look at new movies coming out that I've never even heard of and how bad things like Rotten Tomatoes have gotten. The Tato-meter is 100%. 100%. That is a flawless movie. I've never given anything 100% other than the Bible series, the Bible miniseries. And then you look at the audience score, and they say it's crap. If you're below 60%, it's a bad movie. It's not really worth your time. The Domestics. What is that? I don't know. I don't care. I don't care. Now we're going to look at another one. Number 37 is another one who's coming out. 100%. 100%. This movie has not even come out yet. 100% fresh. 100%. The best movie ever made. Now, as I mentioned before, the only thing that I gave it a 15 out of 10, and I think every Christian should see it, is the Bible mini-series. What did the reviewers give it, man? 14%? 14%. These paid idiots to review movies gave it a 14% because, gee, it has Christianity in it. Who would have thought a series called The Bible would have Christianity in it? Now, even if it wasn't a Christian watching the Bible series, it is shot extremely well. It is acted extremely well. And not knowing anything about the Bible, I thought that everything made sense in it. I don't know. If I was an agnostic, I would say that it would probably be a 7 out of 10. Just for the acting, the way it's shot. The casting was great. The cinematography was great. The only thing lacking was some of the CGI wasn't so good, but, whatever. Whatever. And you look at the audience score, 72%, which for all audience, that's what I would expect. I would expect a 7 out of 10. Now, I give it a 15 out of 10, but whatever. That's me. You can't trust these people, okay? You cannot trust anything on any of these review sites because they're all paid. These people are paid. They don't like it. It's Christian. It's Christian. Anything that's a Christian movie, you cannot trust the critics on anything. They just don't like Jesus for whatever reason. They like the fake Jesus ones, though. Passion of the Christ. Oh, they love that. Love that one. I'll give dude an Oscar for that. All right. Also, particularly with the Bible, this has a 14%, which means it should never have been put to film, according to the critics. But it only has 14 reviews because the reviewers just are so atheistic they don't even want to watch it. The other thing here is the Bible series had more viewership than the Super Bowl. Yeah. I think it was played on every Sunday, and Super Bowl Sunday, more people watched the Bible than they watched the Super Bowl. So that's what I have to say about reviewing reviews. Reviews on reviewing the reviewers. Is that what I'm doing with Rotten Tomatoes? And there's been a lot of things on just popular culture where Disney is coming out with a lot of different Star Wars things. They have a new animated series out, and I think there's a She-Ra thing out or something like that. And the audience reviews are just trashing it. And then mysteriously, they have 2,000 5-star reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. Like in a day or two, they have 2,000 5-star reviews with no comments, no nothing about why they love XYZ about the show. Just a 5-star and that's it. Create an account, put a 5-star, and that's it. And that's what it's come to. That's what it's come to. So, just because something may have a negative review or a bad review, I've watched stuff that's just been garbage that has had better reviews than Book of Eli. I thought it was garbage, but, whatever. Some people certainly liked it. You just don't pay attention to Rotten Tomatoes anymore. They're garbage tier website. There's another one out there too, Cinema Score. They're garbage tier. You really can't trust any of these guys anymore. You think with, you look at it and it goes, oh, we got 5,000 reviews on there. They're, most people look like they like it. Well, no, they hire a bunch of people in some starving country somewhere and give them $1 per review, and there you go. They create 500 or 1,000 accounts and just go do that. And they get their check. And they're happy. Then they can eat for the next 10 years. So that's what's going on there. As I said, this movie, I'm still going to roll an 8.5. And I already talked about a lot of the negatives, where a couple of the plot points don't make sense, and they could have just been cut from the movie and not detracted from it. It's a little long, but it's still fun to watch. I really enjoyed it. So that is the Book of Eli. If you don't mind, a couple of F-bombs here and there throughout the 2 hours. That's all that's in there. And watching Denzel go beat people up. And the other thing I did appreciate about this is that Denzel, I think, is around 55 when he did this movie. And that's a good thing. He didn't have to go to the gym and work out and get all chiseled and toned and make himself into a kung fu fighter. He just looks like a regular 55-year-old guy. At one point he's got his shirt off and you can see, he's wandering the wastelands for the last 30 years and is kind of banged up and scarred and stuff. But he still has this awesome fighting capability and this really quick reflexes and cunning. And that's because God is with him and giving him that power. And the bad reviewers aren't Christians, and they don't understand that. They don't understand that. So that is the Book of Eli. And with that, we're going to be out here.